Hello, everyone. I hope that I am visible. I see Dr. Ponpimon Viakul. If you can hear me, can you just do a thumbs up so I know that the technology is working? Very happy to have you all here and most warmly welcome to the Thailand-Sweden Sustainable Development Forum in 2022. My name is Carl Lindvall, and I serve as the Trade Commissioner of Sweden to Thailand and the Country Manager of Business Sweden, the Swedish Trade and Invest Council here in Thailand. This session will touch upon the development of smart cities in Sweden and Thailand and how we can cooperate in order to create an even bigger impact in that area. We have the pleasure of hosting leading experts in the field from both Thailand and Sweden who will present best practices as well as their endeavors in the planning, development, and maintenance of smart cities. Thailand is undergoing an interesting transformation within the Smart City Thailand initiative, and we can see increased emphasis on the development of smart and sustainable infrastructure, mobility, and energy solutions. During the recent years, I've had the pleasure of meeting several ministries in Thailand, discussing possibilities and areas for collaboration between our two countries in the areas of sustainability and development of green livable cities and public spaces. During these meetings, it's been clear that Sweden is often associated with words such as innovation, sustainability, safety, and high-quality solutions. However, a year ago, or a century ago rather, Sweden was among the poorest nations in Europe. It's a small country, Sweden, today home to only about 10 million people, yet today it is a world leader in innovation. Why, you might ask? The simple answer is we invest heavily in research, encourage critical thinking from an early age, and we're open to international influences. In societies where curiosity, creativity, and openness is stimulated, people get the chance to grow, develop their ideas, and to challenge given norms. In Sweden, hierarchies are few, meetings are many, and openness is priority. Another key factor is the tradition of close collaboration between research institutes and private and public sectors, setting the foundation for global Swedish companies. In this session, we would also want to warmly welcome DEPA's participation, DEPA standing for the Thai Digital Economy Promotion Agency. This agency embodies similar values as to what makes Sweden successful, like the promotion of innovation, equality, and digitalization to improve the economy of the nation and hence the quality of life for all citizens. DEPA is also a cornerstone in the Smart City program and a great collaborative counterpart for the entire Team Sweden. The Smart City initiative in Thailand could not have been introduced by DEPA at a better time due to Thailand's increasing urbanization, a growing middle class, and pledges toward a green and sustainable transition. The Thai Smart City initiative is based on 8 pillars to address and promote the challenges and opportunities that come with the current shift in the demographic dividend and the country. The interest for closer collaboration between Sweden and Thailand within smart city development has been very high, and I am therefore also very happy that we have such strong exchange today, which paves the way for an even deeper collaboration between our countries and our industries. The purpose of this session of the online forum is to enable knowledge exchange and sharing between Thailand and Sweden, and to showcase institutional innovation that can support and development of smart and sustainable cities. It will, however, not end there. Rather, I see today is just the beginning for a more formal exchange and collaboration between Sweden and Thailand in the areas of smart cities, which we also hope will lead to delegation visits in both directions. I'm very happy to have such a distinguished line of speakers and panelists for this event. We have Mr. Östen Ekengren, who is a senior advisor at Smart City Sweden, who will introduce how Sweden works with smart cities from a holistic perspective. Furthermore, we have Mr. Alan Larson, who is a founder and senior advisor in electricity, Hammarby Sjöstad, moreover, the former Swedish Minister of Finance, who will present the Stockholm Green Innovation District. On the Thai side, we're very happy to have Dr. Pasakon Pratombutter, who's the Senior Vice President of DEPA, who will introduce the organization and the Thai Smart City concept. And last, but definitely not least, we have Kun Surachai Laupulsuk, who's the Executive Vice President of PTT, Thailand's leading and only Fortune 500 company involved in, among other areas, electricity, oil and gas, and the petrol industry, who will talk about the success case of the smart city Wangchan Valley, which is a very interesting example of a Thai privately led smart city initiative. I look forward to a fruitful exchange and an interesting Q&A session. Please keep in mind that there is a chat box, so any questions you may have, please raise them there, and we will get to the Q&A session after the introductory speeches. So without further ado, I would want to introduce our first speaker, who is Mr. Östen Ekengren from Smart City Sweden. Mr. Ekengren graduated with a master's degree from the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm in 1978. The next year, he joined the Swedish Environmental Research Institute, IVL. He's been responsible for the buildup of the Environmental Technology Department there, also being responsible for the business area, sustainable production and consumption. Mr. Ekengren was until recently the Executive Vice President for EVL, among other things. Mr. Ekengren has also worked bilaterally, helped the Latvian Ministry of Economy to define how they can introduce environmental issues, not as a problem, but also as a way to find business opportunities. And Mr. Ekengren will here present the Smart City Sweden platform. So the floor is all yours, Östen.
Thank you for this introduction, and good afternoon, good morning. We will talk about the smart city. And remember, as a first statement, there is no sustainable city in the world. A smart city means that we are trying to move in the right direction, and there are many good initiatives. And Smart City Sweden is an idea from the Swedish government to sum up all the good experience in Sweden and share with visitors coming from abroad, but also learn from other countries. So we have been running this initiative for 4 years, now funded by the Swedish Energy Agency. We have collected information about 120 best practices from all over Sweden. It started in Stockholm, and Mr. Larson will tell you more about this background later on. We have on the homepage also information about 700 companies, and we have offices all over the country. What is very important is that we cooperate also with the government agencies, because no development without those agencies. They help to set out the roles. They also stimulate the research and development. So it goes hand in hand for the development. And Sweden has high ambition. We want to be net zero emission free by 2045. We also want to reduce emission from the domestic transport by 70% by 2030. And we have also established a climate political framework. By doing this, we also are proud that we can lower the carbon dioxide emission at the same time as GDP can be growing. It has been a discussion about GDP, especially now during this meeting here in Stockholm. And it's not very well suited, but it is a tool that we need to use. And it's good to see that we can grow economy and lowering carbon dioxide emission at the same time. We have also been ranked in Sweden as a #1 country to reach all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. This is not enough to be ranked #1. You must also fulfill. But we think there are some ingredients which is very important in doing this. And first is innovation. Never be satisfied. You must find smarter and better solutions all the time. Therefore, Sweden spent 3.5% of GDP on research and development, and 2/3 of the money comes from industry. This will probably be raised to 4% in the near future. But we have also learned that cities need citizen engagement. They are the people living there. They want to have food, fresh air, fresh water, transportation, enough energy. They need culture, it's a lot of things that must be planned. You need also green area. And for too long time, citizen has been developed without the influence of the citizen. And this is not very good. So you need the engagement, because remember, it was mentioned Albert Einstein in the introduction. He grew up in Ulm in Germany. Very few people think that Ulm is a smart city, but if you include Albert Einstein, it's really smart. So you need to educate also citizens to do the right thing and understand why and be engaged. You need system solution also, and what we call eco-governance. This means that wherever I go around the world in a city, you organize it in different disciplines. Someone responsible for water and sewage, someone for waste, someone for energy, someone for building, and so on. And they are working normally in silos, and this is not smart. When you set up a holistic goal for a city or part of a city, everyone here should come together, and together we industry find out how is the way forward, what should we do? And that's how it started in Sweden in the 90s, when the mayor said that the first Hammarby Sjöstad should be double as good as other cities, but also have half of the emission. Now 23 mayor in Sweden has signed agreement that their city should be fossil-free 2030. And then you must also find a way how to cooperate to reach such goals. Also on a national level, this is very important. And as Greta Thunberg has informed us, we are in a hurry. And that's really true. We need transformative changes. We need more electricity. So in Sweden, we have been lucky. We have hydropower, nuclear power, and we are also building more and more windmills. It now represents 17% of the production of electricity. But the wind is not always blowing, the sun is not always shining. So how to have storage? Therefore, you need better battery capacity for storage, or we also invest a lot now in hydrogen. Hydrogen can be stored and being producing electricity when it's the right time. We need better transportation, we need better housing, and especially house that already built up is more problematic than to build a new part of a city. That is in a way easier. But we also live in a new world where we have still large company producing electricity, but we are also starting up small scale production. And this is problematic for the planner. You must have enough power when people want to charge the car, but you must also be able to sell energy from small scale production. And you need to have the power in time. And this is something that is struggling now, many cities, how to plan for this and how to functioning all day and night. I will talk also about building. Normally you are thinking about building, especially here in Sweden, when it's cold, I think in Thai, you are thinking about for the cooling purpose. You want to minimize the energy consumption, and that's good. But if you look at this from a life cycle point of view, you see the blue here, it represents the emission from the material being introduced when you are building up houses. It's similar for all infrastructure. So we must be careful what material we choose and how we also take care of the waste when we are doing this building houses. So therefore in Sweden, it's agreement now between the industry and government to focus much more on the product. In Sweden, 1/3 of the emission of carbon dioxide comes from transport, 1/3 comes from industry, where cement and steel gives the most emission. So therefore it's decided that in Sweden, we should produce fossil-free steel. And also the mine LKAB will produce fossil-free. And if we can do that in large scale, it will be helpful also for other countries buying those products, because we change a very old technology using blast furnace to introduce hydrogen. And then we are happy that now Volvo has produced the first truck with fossil-free steel. And this is a giant investment from Swedish side, but we also, with the cement industry, want to lower the emission. Last week, I have a visit from Siam Cement from your country, and we discussed what can be done in this area. You can change the fuel in the process, but then it's not possible to get rid of all carbon dioxide. So it will be collected and stored under the deep sea. That's the way you minimize emission from the Swedish industry. But we also do it from other industries. But why not using forest material? To build up houses, the forest material is, in Sweden at least, the best to do. We are covered by 70% by forests. If we can build houses like this in Sundbyberg, they can be quite tall, and they are more fire resistant than any other house. So this is now introduced in large scale. For mobility, you can talk about 3 revolutions. We introduce EV car quickly as we can. This year and the first month, full electric car has been a #1 sold car in Sweden for the first time ever. And this is going on. You also have it for buses and you have it for small lorries. But the time is limited until 2030. So we also are using alternative fuel, because we can use the old engine with better fuels. So Sweden is the leading country in European Union using alternative fuel, more than 30%. So when I buy petrol, it is partly also influenced from ethanol. If I buy diesel, it's also biodiesel. And then we have biogas. So this combination can hopefully help us to reach the target to minimize emission with 70%. But even if everyone buy an EV car, this is not smart to go around with. The space on the street is not enough. So the good thing is that the young generation, they are not see the car as something just to show that you are rich. They want to go between A and B, and therefore sharing of car is a growing trend, and this is very good. But also the public transport, of course. In Stockholm, 60% of the transport is by public. And also introduction of bicycle is very important, because it's good for your health, it's good for environment. But everyone cannot use bicycle, but we need to use them much more than we are doing today. We are also happy that we have both Volvo and Scania producing the vehicles that can be used. We have full electric buses. Now they have the first full electric trucks going out on the streets. At the same time, for long way transport, you can use hydrogen and liquid biogas. So they help us to solve these transport solutions. In Sweden, we have been good in producing biogas. The reason is that we introduced wastewater treatment plant all over the countries in the 70s. And we produced then a lot of sludge. So what to do with the sludge? Then we realized that using anaerobic digestion, we have only half of the amount of sludge left. So that was the start. And then we could see that we also generate methane. So the methane can be used to produce electricity, but it can also be used to upgrade as a fuel. So we have a lot of transport using this. And for the future, industry needs more biogas instead of natural gas. And this is happening quickly now in Europe because of the lack of the gas from Russia. If you talk about water, we see a trend that in many areas you will have water shortage, also including outside Sweden on the island Gotland. And this has happened in a few years, and it will be worse. If you read the IPCC report, you know that the red areas will be even more red. And in some areas, people cannot survive because you don't have enough water. On the other hand, you will have more water than you want. You will have flooding in many areas. So we need to be better in the water issues. First, to minimize the problem of water shortage. Secondly, to take care of the flooding of the water. So therefore, we have to rethink. We need a production facility, not a wastewater treatment plant. In the production facility, you should produce water to be reused. You should produce energy. You should produce nutrients. This is the way we try to move on here in Sweden. But people are not so happy to drink wastewater, treated wastewater. So we need to convince, we have produced a beer called Purest, which is sold all over Sweden. We produce 6,000 liters. And then you realize that to drink that beer was quite good, not a problem. The only problem was that the wastewater was too clean after treatment. So we had to add some minerals. But this is something that is happening now all over the world, that you must be more careful of the water that you have more circular way of handling it and taking care of the energy you have in it and also the nutrients. We have a growing population. This could be a picture from Korat, which I visited 10 years ago, or it could be from Sweden some years ago. To solve a problem with waste, it's quite common to go outside the city center and try to hide it. It doesn't work, as you know. You have air pollution. You have also water pollution, spreading of diseases, and most important, loss of resources. So this can't go on. Sweden decided to minimize the amount of household waste going to landfill. It's now down to 0.5%, and it will be zero in the near future. And how to do it? First, you try to minimize it. In Sweden, it's roughly 470 kilo per person a year. It has been in that level for a long time. So it's hard to lower it. Well, we try our best. And one of the things is to reuse more material. In Sweden, it's quite common if you buy an apartment, you change kitchen, even if it has only 2 years, it being 2 years old. And this is crazy. We cannot continue like that. We must reuse more furnitures, material, clothes. And it's a growing interest for this, which will minimize the waste amount. And if you fail with that, you should recycle it as material. In Sweden, we recycle like 35% of the household waste, and then 50% organic on top of that. And what you cannot recycle can be used for energy production. And the collection of the waste can also be done in a more functional way. This is the first system that was introduced in Hammarby Sjöstad. It's a vacuum system for solid waste. So you don't need the lorries going around in the city. You have a quick transport by vacuum, and then the waste goes for regeneration or for treatment in the incineration plant. And we have in Sweden 41 district heating and district cooling waste to energy plant. We started to use oil, and then we have oil crisis 73. So we introduce what is left from the household waste as a fuel, but it's not enough. So during winter time and more, we use forest residue. And this has been a good way to minimize the emission of carbon dioxide from this sector. And now this sector also using the pipes that is all over the cities for cooling purpose because even in Sweden in summertime, it can be quite warm. Here is some of the solution that we now invest a lot. First, the fossil-free iron and steel, which I told you about. Then we build up battery factories, one in Skellefteå, it will be one in Gothenburg, and it's part of it in Borlänge. Because it's enormous interest for batteries, for all the transport, but also for storage. We also invest to produce electrofuel. Electrofuel is a fuel that can be used for airplane when you mix carbon dioxide with hydrogen gas, and then you have a fuel that can be used. In Stockholm, we also have a heating up with forest residue. And now they will collect the carbon dioxide and take it down to the deep sea. And by doing that, you will have minus because it is the forest that you are using. And this will be very important in the future to reach the climate change goal. We also start to produce ethanol in Sweden from forest residue, not buying from abroad. We, as I told you, we are also investing a lot in climate neutral cement in Gotland. We also want to have a circular of textile. All Swedes think that 14 kilo of clothes is not good enough, so it will be waste. First, you must try to change behavior, not buying so much. But we have also invested in a solution where the textile clothes goes on a ban. You have an IR beam, so you can sort out the best textile that can be recycled in a factory, in the pulp and paper industry. So this is now introduced in large scale in Sweden. We also have a biorefinery. We have also the plastic, which is a problem. Only 10% can be recycled. So we try to recycle more now by having better sorting, but also building up a chemical factory where the plastic can be dissolved in acids, and then you have the monomer and build up new plastics. I will end up by saying Internet of Things is a very important thing, and they are dependent on the 5G introduction. But by having more information in the city, we will be capable to optimize the city in a much smarter way. So ICT is a tool that must be used, but it's not fully there, but it comes more and more. It helps you for the planning in a tremendous way. So end up by introducing Smart City Sweden. We have a lot of visitors. We are happy that last week we also have a delegation from your country. We have from many countries coming here. We organize visits all over Sweden. We organize webinars, matchmaking, and we also do some pre-studies. Some example here is that we do a pre-study together. We involve cities, transport solutions in Colombia, solar energy Peru, smart grid in Germany, biogas in China, and so on. And this is also a possibility to start up cooperation with your country. So I will end up by saying that we are in a hurry, but there are also good things going on. And I hope that we can keep the cooperation between our two countries so we can be able to reach a sustainable city in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Ekengren. Really appreciate your introduction, and of course, very enlightening to see the integrated approach that Sweden has when it comes to smart city development. Not only touching upon topics such as water, sewage, buildings, traffic, transport, waste, and energy, and so on. So I think that was a very enlightening and good introduction to how Sweden works with smart cities. And I think now we aim to go from the general to a little bit more specific We will now get to hear about a Swedish smart city in action, so to speak, and we will learn about the Stockholm Green Innovation District. And the person that we're very happy to have with us today to introduce the Stockholm Green Innovation District is Mr. Alan Larson, who has had a long and distinguished career as a journalist, Undersecretary of Labour, Director General of the Swedish Labour Market Board, Finance Minister of Sweden, Member of Parliament, and Director General of the EU Commission. He's also been engaged as the chairman of the Swedish state-run television and Lund University. He's also been a member of several international commissions and advisory boards. So with those short words, I would like to give the stage now to Mr. Alan Larson. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Bangkok. Good morning, Stockholm. So it's my pleasure to introduce or present to you Stockholm Green Innovation District with the aim of taking leadership in climate transition. So these are 2 cities with 5 districts in a joint effort for leadership in sustainable urban development. And there is a huge investment in this, about 5 billion euro investment in the next 10 years. This is a contribution not only to the Swedish development, but also to the EU Bauhaus initiative and the EU mission on climate neutral cities. Next picture, please. Can I get, so here are the 2 cities. This is Stockholm, Town Hall, and then we have the neighboring city, Nacka, which is supporting this initiative. Next picture, please. So here is the first example. This is an old residential area built in the 60s. It's in Åsta. It's a project called Grow Smarter as a test bed for sustainable renovation. It was EU funded, and this project demonstrated how 12 smart solutions for buildings, infrastructure, mobility can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by more than 60% in this area. So it's a very good example that you can do a lot in the existing areas. And remember that 99% of the emissions, CO2 emissions, are coming from the already built areas. Only 1% is additional of a new city. So this is important. This example is extremely important. Next picture, please. So here is the meatpacking district. There's a test bed for the creative cities. So this is one of the largest urban development projects in Stockholm. This is a hub for culture, events, with the aim of being a ground for creativity and innovation. And what you see there is the area to be reconstructed. You see 2 main buildings. These are football ground, and it's the hockey place for ice hockey. So, and you see in the middle, you see the T's, that is the underground, the tube going through this area. So it's situated south of downtown Stockholm, and it's a very interesting and vibrant area. Now let's take a look at the next picture. This is called Stockholm New Ideas for a Creative Working Life. It's built by the construction and real estate company Skanska, were active international company. And they are building now in this district about 8,000 workplaces for 8,000 people. And this is an area where they use the highest standard for sustainable construction. And you see there's a new landmark building for Stockholm South. This is very active, and there's a lot of company moving in there now. Next picture, please. So here we are in Hammarby Sjöstad, at Hammarby Sjöstad 2.0, a testbed for climate transition by 2030. This was the origin of what I'm talking about, a new city district with high sustainability qualities. As Östen Ekenryd said, this was an area where the mayor said this should be twice as good as anything built before. Has been built over the last 20 years. 25,000 people living there now. This is my hometown, attracting a global interest. But when we talk about 2.0, this is the next step in the development. It's a test bed for citizen-driven climate transition, and we are testing a lot of new activities: local and energy system, electrification of transport system, digitalization of waste handling system, and so on. So this is to take this city district to the new level of sustainability, and with the distinct aim of becoming climate neutral by 2030. And we are convinced that we can do it. And we can also show that's very good business. We who are living there, we have reduced energy costs in a substantial way. So this is a good example of showing that climate policy is also good economic policy. Next picture, please. This is a fifth district, called Sickla and Nobel Mountain. This is an old industrial area which is now turned into a new vibrant city district. They focus on sustainable construction. There's a large solar cell installation in the district. There's a new form of farming for local restaurants, new housing, preschools, park, and so on. So a test bed for attractive cities. And I will say that the real estate company developing this, they have the most advanced policy for city development and for climate transition. So it's a very good example of what we're talking about. So these are the 5 districts and what we are doing this. They are now working together. And I will now turn to some examples of innovation for sustainability that we are testing or implementing here. And they're very much examples of what Östen Ekenryd said in his presentation of Smart City Sweden. So let's turn to the next picture, please. Here are 3, so I will talk about 10 innovations to speed up climate transition. And here are the 3 first. Next generation of waste handling systems. As Östen Ekenryd mentioned, we are moving to use the digital support to make it more efficient than it is today. It's the vacuum system, it's underground, it's clean, reliable, and so on. But we add a new dimension to it. Then the second is Stockholm Exergy's bio-CCS for the district heating system to capture the CO2 and bring it down to ground. This is a research innovation project. It will be implemented in the next 2-3 years. And then we have also, as Östen mentioned, Stockholm Water and Waste, the new membrane tech for water purification. This is a huge investment. This is the hugest investment in Stockholm for environment, and it's for cleaning, purification of water. And it is very promising technology. So can we move to the next picture, please? Here are 3 other examples. It's Skanska's construction methods. Number 4. This is green concrete. They can reduce the CO2 in concrete by 50%. So this is a good example that you can do a lot already in the construction process. And then we had, as I talked about, the energy renovation process. And then the 6th is Green City Ferries, new emission-free electric and hydrogen-driven ferries. And they will be in operation in next year. And here is one project that I could say that could be a very interesting cooperation between Sweden and Thailand. We have the technology, we have the knowledge, and we could share that with you because you have, as we, long coasts and you have a lot of transport on water. So next, the last examples, next picture, please. So digitalization of real estate, that's a lot of advantages from using data from real estate. You can do a lot better performance of real estate. Then we have the local energy communities. That's a new form where we can share energy and store energy and thereby reduce CO2. The ninth example, the picture to the right, that is electrification of cars. We have introduced charging infrastructures at home. We think it's charging at home is a key for transforming in the transition to electric cars. And we are using new technologies. And as Östern said, we have now more than 50% of all new cars are electric cars. Let's take the 10th and last innovation that we are working on. This is a system demonstrator for climate city governance. Governance is key for climate transition. You can set goals, you can have the systems improved, but if you can't manage a system, if you can't run it, if you don't have the governance, you won't do it. So this is a demonstrator that we are developing. It's based on climate city contract between government and the mayor. It's by and for citizens. Civil society involvement is fundamentally important. It's climate investment plan, looking 10 years ahead, what are you going to invest? It's a new concept for funding. So mission instead of projects, and full-scale digitalization of the process, and including both the built city and the construction of new city districts. These are all elements in a new climate city governance model that will develop that and will introduce in our climate city contracts. So these were 10 innovations. Let's now move to the next picture, which is an example of illustrating the global interest from all over the world, from China, from India, from the United States and Thailand, for a new model of governance for climate transition. You see pictured up to the left, President Xi Jinping, who visited Stockholm in 2010. And he has had a lot of followers. So we have had 25,000 Chinese visitors to Hammarby Sjöstad, 25,000, as many visitors as there are inhabitants in Hammarby Sjöstad. And then you see other pictures. One to the left down is from New York. In the middle, I'm talking in the People's Big Hall in a conference. And to the right, you have the energy minister from India visiting us. So this is an example of the interest that these city districts are creating globally. And we are very happy to welcome visitors, and you are welcome from Thailand to us to see and discuss and see what we can do together. Now, next picture, please. This is just to tell about what we are doing, the implementation of Stockholm Green Innovation District. It's about innovation, to develop new things and to test it. It's about inward investment. We are attracting investment to Stockholm, and export promotion through Smart City Sweden, as presented by Östern. And then outreach. We are working through Region Stockholm Brussels office, and we have a meeting on Friday to present these ideas for the whole European audience, a big audience from Europe. Now, last picture. So, thank you for listening and welcome to Stockholm. This is a nice area, beautiful area, and you are most welcome to come and see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Alan Larson. And I think that your explanation of the Stockholm Green Innovation District also highlights the importance of community involvement. I actually had the pleasure to speak to Mr. Larson the other day, and I think that your work kind of started as you moving into the Hammarby Sjöstad and kind of saw the need to kind of have a continuous involvement of the citizenry in the city. So that's indeed a very, very interesting kind of angle to look into the role of the populace or the citizens in a smart city. And of course, thank you so much for all of the efforts that you are spending there. So now we have listened to Mr. Östen Ekengren at Smart City Sweden and Mr. Allan Larson with a Swedish smart city example at the Stockholm Green Innovation District. And I think that it is now time for us to look at the Thai side here. And we have two very distinguished speakers from the Thai side. It's Dr. Pasakon Pratonbutr, who's the Senior Vice President of the Digital Economy Promotion Agency, who will talk about how Thailand works with smart cities in an institutional level. And we also have Mr. Surachai Laupulsuk, who will talk about a smart city in action, so to speak, which is the Wangchan Valley project. So I would like to introduce then Dr. Pasakon Pratonbutr. He graduated from the University of Missouri, Kansas City with a PhD in software architecture and computer engineering. He was also a student at Chulalongkorn University, actually part of the team that connected the country's first internet leased line all the way back in 1991. He has since worked as a researcher at the National Electronics and Computer Technology Center after his graduation, and he also founded the Thai IP Version 6 Association. He's currently the Senior Executive Vice President of DEPA, the Digital Economy Promotion Agency, where he is responsible for large initiatives such as the Smart City Project and the Thailand Digital Valley Project. It should be noted that he's also the editor-in-chief of the International Journal of Intelligent Transportation System Research, which is published by academic publisher Springer. So without further ado, we look forward to hearing your remarks, Dr. Pasakon.
Thank you, Carl. So good morning and good afternoon. So currently there's a heavy rain in Bangkok. So, okay, let me start with the role of the people. We are government under the Ministry of Digital Economy and Society. So basically we are the linkage between the policy, the supply side, that is like solution providers, and the demand side, that is the cities or local government. So I hope that with this talk, we can do some collaboration together. So I will present the perspective from the government side of how we drive the smart city. You see that the logo in the middle here is a Smart City Thailand logo. So this is our mechanism. Any city in Thailand could become a smart city. It's not just Bangkok or the big city or Phuket. Any city, because we cannot leave anyone behind. But the city is not the whole province. We have 77 provinces in Thailand. But when we define the cities, it's a level of the sub-district or the municipalities, smaller size, because the province is too big. And like a Bangkok have many areas, many zones that have quite different requirements, different characteristics. So we let the sub-district or the mayor to make their own decision, the direction to become the smart city. But when we say smart city, it's not to make to renovate the city or to build the new city or to make it a high-end, the brand new civilizations with the high technology. What we need, we just want the technology to answer the pain point of the citizen. So it's kind of the citizen-centric. We need the citizen come first, not just the technology first. So once we start a smart city, we have to find out the direction of the city, what kind of the pain point, what kind of the problem, so then we can match the solution to fix that problem. So it's quite aligned with the strategy of the country. We call it Thailand 4.0. The Thailand 4.0 is the national agenda that we drive the city with the innovation, or we call it a value-based economy. But anyway, there is a top-down policy. The smart city is in the opposite way. It's a bottom-up. So we want to drive the smart city. At the same time, we drive the economy, because the smart city requires the technology, require the equipment, IoT, the sensor, the 5G, so that at the same time we make a better life for the people. At the same time, we create the market for the digital economy. So toward the same way to Thailand 4.0. So I will skip some slides. This is in Thai, but I just want to mention that the next national plans of Thailand, the National Economic and Society Development Plan, which is begin next year, to the next 5 years. The strategic target of the plan, we have 13 strategic target, and one of them, number 8 here, you see that is the name is smart city. That means the target or the direction of the country in the next 5 years, we will focus on the smart city development. So this, I mean, you can invest and you can do some, I mean, research R&D, because in the next 5 years, it still be the national agenda in Thailand. Okay. I will skip some slide here. Okay. The government, about 5 years ago, the Prime Minister, they have set up the Smart City Committee. It's like a steering committee, because the Smart City is the linkage between many areas, from transportation to environment to energy. So it has to link the collaborate between different ministries. So the government have set up the committee, and DIPA, we are secretariat of this committee, and the committee define the master plan and the roadmap of the smart city. And today, the committee have set up the Smart City Thailand logo and Smart City Thailand office on the right-hand side with the 7 area of the smart cities. Our mechanism, any city can apply to become the smart city development zone. You see on the left-hand side, so it's a proposal component. Any city with the area of more than 10,000 could apply to become the smart city, 10,000 of operation. So DIPA, we work both the regulator and the promoters. So we are the secretariat of the national committee. The proposal submitted to DIPA, and we set up the criteria how to become the smart city. Once the city pass our criteria, they get the benefit from the government. So what is the benefit from the government, the incentive from the government? The city that has passed the criteria, they can claim for the tax incentive from the Board of Investment. They can claim for the budget from the government, and like a regulatory sandbox to do some experiment from the government. So this is kind of the incentive. That's why today there are more than 50 cities that have already submitted the proposal to DIPA. And here's the details of the proposal. So we need to know what is the direction, the vision of your cities, what kind of the infrastructure, the physical infrastructure or digital infrastructure. So the investor can plan for the investment. So we have to submit the infrastructure plan. And the number 3, that we need you to submit the city data and security platform, because today the cities will be driven by the data. It's similar to say that we transform the cities using the data or digital transformation. So a lot of data has come from sensor or come from the social media, from the human beings. So a lot of data that we want to classify and to grouping the data and provide and open the data so that the private sector or the SME or company can make use of the data to help the local government to build the city. And also we require the number 4, that the city has to submit the project, what kind of the solution that they want to create on their own area. And last but not least, the management and sustainability for how you make it sustainable. What kind of the PPP on the collaboration between the private sector. For the smart city in Thailand, we encourage the private sector to get involved with the local government to build a smart city. Let's skip this one. So here are the 7 dimensions of the smart city. The city could implement the whole 7 dimensions. It depends on the context or requirements of the city. But some city, they can prioritize. They may start with the smart environment first or smart living. They don't have to implement the the whole 7 dimensions at the first phase. Basically, the proposal, the government require 2-year terms of the proposal, but they can renew the proposal every 2 years. The smart city is a lifetime project, so you have to prioritize. You don't have to implement every aspect, every dimension. It depends on their pain point. And we have set up the criteria, which is the ultimate goal for the city. They have to reach this goal, but it's very, we know that it takes a long time, but it's to set up the direction, what we need at the end. And today, this is not up to date. We have today about 58 proposals from the cities around the country, and 15 of them have already passed the criteria and received the Smart City Thailand logo. That means they can claim for the benefit or incentive from the government. Here are the names of the cities that have already passed the criteria. And because we have this proposal, so it's easier for you if you are from the Swedish company. We can matching the requirements from this kind of proposal to your technology or platform easier. And you see that the city here is not the whole province, like a Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is in the northern, number 1 here, the northern of Thailand. The Chiang Mai have at this moment 2 areas of Chiang Mai have already submitted the proposal. One is from the municipalities and one is from the Chiang Mai University. So in Bangkok, there are 4 areas or 4 zones that have already submitted the proposal. And the red color represents that it's a new city. So it is possible that the city could be from the existing one or from the greenfield or the new area. They develop a new greenfield to become the smart city, like a Wang Chan Valley that will be presented next. And here the activity that we present the certificates and the trophy or the Smart City Thailand logo by the Deputy Prime Minister. This event happened in last December for the 15th city. Beyond the mechanism of the Smart City Thailand logo that come with the benefit from the government, we also pay attention on the workforce or the human development. So these are the programs that we set up for the leader, the mayor, or from the city. They can allow and take the benefit of this kind of training class. So again, so if you want to collaborate with the technology transfer, we can combine the class with your technology or your showcase or your product together with this class. This is for the senior and for the leader, but this one for the junior, for the we call it young ambassador. So the new graduate students, we recruit them and challenge them to work to their hometown to develop the smart city. So we train them for a year with a boot camp, and then let them go back and develop their own city. This is a program. Last year we have 30 smart city ambassadors, and this year we will go on this project with 150 more ambassadors. So we welcome the city, allow the country to join and apply for this ambassador. And this one is for anyone, any person. You can do the online trainings. We provide this kind of curriculums or class. It's free for anyone if they want to understand the fundamentals of the smart city. And this kind of another event, but unfortunately for the last 2 years with the pandemic, we cannot have the physical event, but we hope that we can make it by the end of this year. So we will invite our colleagues from Sweden for sure. This is a program that we want to collaborate with the private sector. You can propose or submit your technology, and then we can do the matching technology to the cities, because you know that we have the proposal in our hands. And not only for the big company, we also support startup to meet the cities. Startup, they have their own technology, their own talent, and their own passion for their product. But what if it can meet the requirement with the city? So it could be extendable, scalable to the level of the smart city. That means it helps the startup to extend their market. Okay. Okay. This is the last slide. If you want to see more about the smart city development in Thailand, please feel free to visit, to download this kind of handbook. And you can see the link here, the smart city handbook. And I think that this is the conclude my presentation, and we will discuss later on if there's any problems. Thank you. Back to you, Carl.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Pasakon. And indeed, we will get back to you and the other panelists too in the question and answer session. So for any questions that you may have in the audience about Dr. Pasakon's introduction to DEPA and their work, or to any other of the speakers, just put them in the chat and we'll make sure that we raise them in the Q&A session momentarily. Very, of course, happy to have had you with us today, Dr. Pasakon, and really interesting to see that the work that DEPA is doing. We see that a lot of momentum is being gained now for the smart city program in Thailand, with already 15 approved smart cities and many more under consideration. What personally makes me very happy to see is that, of course, we have a lot of developments in the Bangkok area, but we also see examples of smart cities up to the north and northeast and down to the south too. Thailand, for the Swedish audience, a lot of people live in the Bangkok region, so we really only have one mega city in Thailand, but of course very good to try to ensure equitable and sustainable growth in the entire country. So very happy to see about that. So the time has come then for the fourth and last speaker in this session prior to the Q&A session. And just like Östen could you please mute your microphone? Thank you. And just like Mr. Östen Ekengren was followed by Mr. Alan Larson, who talked about a smart city in action in Thailand, so to speak. Now, after Dr. Pasakon and DEPA, we're very happy to have Mr. Surachai Laupulsuk introduce the Wangchan Valley Smart City. Again, it's quite notable in that it's a smart city where the foundation work has been done by a private entity. So Mr. Surachai Laupulsuk, he's the Executive Vice President of PTT Public Company. At present, he's further responsible as the director of the EECI project. I hope that Mr. Surachai can explain what the EEC is during his talk. But it is an infrastructure and utility development project for the Wangchan Valley Smart City. This is located in the Rayong province, which is to the southeast of Thailand or of Bangkok, roughly 1 hour or so by car. Regarding Mr. Surachai's background, he graduated from Lamar University with a master's degree in civil engineering. Then he commenced his career with PTT in 1996, working in engineering and project construction business unit. He's been responsible as a project director of the transmission pipeline project, as well as vice president of engineering and construction management unit in the EECI project. So very excited to learn more about the Wangchan Valley, and I give the floor over to you, Mr. Surachai.
Thank you very much. Good morning and good afternoon. So today is not like a teaching class. I try to be like a experience sharing, to play real and hurt real, for this time. So the theme of this session is to give you the background. So explain to you who we are and where we are for the Wangchan Valley, who we are. And we'll touch you a little bit more about the real case of the smart city we just been complete from last year. So before we start, we need to give you some background so we can know that what is the EEC, what is the EECI, what is the Wangchan Valley. So how to relate that to all of it. PTT, we are the, as you know, we are the national oil company. We do business for the energy mostly, but we had to change, try to find some business too. Beyond the oil and gas, we try to do some like pharmacies, if you heard from that. We try to do some real estate. We try to do some logistics. Also, we are the government body, state the price from the government too. We will get the mission from the country to build the country to be ready to transform from Industry 3.0. Industry 3.0 is mean that the heavy industry in the past, and for the next 10 years or 20 years, who knows, I think the world gonna be changed from the industry to be 3.0 to the industry 4.0. That's the real world of the digital or the IoT, whatever it is. That's called Thailand 4.0. But PTT, we are the businessman. We need to do business. We cannot do only plan. So we got to do the model of the business. So we select the smart city. We believe that smart city could be the business too. So it's a sandbox. It's an experimental. We try to do the sandbox for the smart city in the area, Wangchan Valley. Wangchan Valley, of course, we are only drive only 2 hours, not 1 hour. 1 hour is optimistic. Huh? We drive around 2 hours and 2.5 hours from Bangkok. For the location, we quite unique because most of the industry 3.0, we believe in the logistic base. It should be close to the port, close to the main transportation. But Wangchan Valley different. We live in the forest area. We try to mimic the Silicon Valley. That's why we named our area to be Wangchan Valley. So I'll give you a bit more. In the area, we have two co-developers. The first one is that so-called the NASDA, National Scientific Technology Development Agents, who are the best scientists in Thailand. He had the mission from the government to build the infrastructure of the innovation. They are the first developer, but PTT, we do another part. We have a duty to develop the premium infrastructure, physical infrastructure for the city to be ready for the smart city. So the city of the Wangchan Valley, in the future, we try to do the 4th scheme of the city. The first scheme is the advanced agriculture city, that's so-called biopolis. The second one is that the technology for the future food in the future, so we call Foodopolis. The third one is that Alipolis, that the city for the automation and for the sensing activities. So the last one is the city for the aviation and for the logistic. That 4 scheme set up by the NASDA or the country for the Wangchan Valley try to be this one. So the target of this city, we will not believe in the old, industry, heavy industry no more. In the next years or 10 years or 20 years, the industry gonna be changed. That's for the food, that's for the digital, that's for the defense, that's for the logistic, not for the aviation. Believe on that. So it's gonna be no more world of the heavy industry no more for the city. So example of the NASDA, our partner, who had to build the research infrastructure. You see, that different from the old industry, what we have faced before. They are ready to build the infrastructure for the investor to be in the area to serve them. For example, for the greenhouse, plant factory, for the smart farming, for the SMC, Sustainable Manufacturing Center. Even we try to promote for the sandbox for the area. And lastly, we even try to build the synchrotron, the light synchrotron for the generation 3 in the area to to serve the investor for the future business. When we try to build a city successful, we're not talking about the theme, how to make this city sustainable. The wording that look like the magic word is ecosystem. We heard all the time about the innovation ecosystem, but the meaning of ecosystem is that we have to maintain by ourselves, and we have to connect it to the other's ecosystem too, and depends by our own. The component of the complete ecosystem for the city is we have to have the area for the inside. EECI is, sorry, I forgot to give you the background. So for the Sweden to know this, EEC is stand for Eastern Economic Corridor. I is for stand for innovation. EEC, they have set up around 4 areas of the promoted area for the future business, like EECD, for stand for the digital, EECTG, Tech Park, ECD, logistic, they have so whatsoever, but ECIB stand for the innovation. Inside EEC, NASDA, they will promote the ecosystem for their own to promote the infrastructure for research. But PTT, we are the businessman. We have to build the area for the future startup, future venture capital to be in the area. And we have to build the smart township in the area too, that the people can live here, going nowhere. We plan to have the project to build the hotel and to build the shopping center in the area too, if the captive demand is coming. And for the last one, for the next one that we proud of, because in the area, we try not to believe in the location based no more. We try to believe in the talent based. That's for the future. We believe that if we have the talent in our city, the future investor that believe in the future like us, they will come to the area, no matter that they can close to the port, close to the logistics, is no more. So the school and university, PT will give the real fund to the best high school in the Thailand now, so-called Kamnert, with only talented and gifted student, you get the full scholarship to study here with no commitment. We also have the university, the deep technology, the department of this tech, we call Vitiya Sremeti Technology Institute. They not have the department like engineering or medical school. It's not like that. It's gonna be the new world. So different department that different from another university. It's only graduate student from master degree up to doctoral degree only. Another component is the recreation and sandbox. We try to promote the Wangchan Valley to be the sandbox for testing. We're testing for the upcoming things that like ERC, energy sandbox. We try to promote the automation like autonomous car sandbox. We try to promote the unmanned aerial vehicle sandbox in the area too, because we believe that it could be the new business in the future. But lastly, to make this thing real, we have to count on the last firm. We have to count on the investor, because investor, they're looking for catchy. You can look out for the money. They're looking for the play like PTT. So that's a challenging one that we have to find the real firm come to the area. So the timeline for the project for the Wangchan Valley, we get the promotion since 2019. We do the infrastructure of the physical infrastructure only 2 years time. We completed the project since April last year. So right now, PT is fully operated since April 2021. We thank you to Dr. Pascal too. We give you the NEPA certificate, 7 dimensions as the ground rule. But we have to develop one by one. We will start from what we good at it in energy. We start in the first 2 dimensions is smart environmental and smart energy first. End of this year, we will have the big ceremony, big event that the APEC 2022, they will have the ceremony around this coming November at Wangchan Valley, end of the year. And EECI from NASDAQ, we have the grand opening for the headquarters too. And right now, to be honest, that right now the captive demand in the area is not quite be expected, because the innovation people, they try to invest here. They try to invest in old industry 3.0, but we cannot promote that because we believe in the 4.0 one. So heavy industry, we not allow that. So it's only the area for the innovators only. So it's quite tough to get the large firm come to the area, but we are still keep trying to do this business. So for the community zone, we try to build up the infrastructure of the hotel or living area, but we have to reduce it again, that we have to invest on captive demand. But all of the design is all done already for the detailed design. So synchrotron, the last one, is the last mega project to be set up in the area. They will come to the Wangchan Valley 2027, 5 years from now. They come to the area for sure. So I will like to encourage you, if you have a chance, looking by your own eyes, you will see the area that totally different from the another industrial park, like a normal industrial estate from Thailand, because we try to mimic the things that like Silicon Valley. We have around 7 acres for the area, deep into the jungle, close to Khun In Mountain. Is a real jungle. The area for the saleable area versus to the green area. For the industrial area, we have around 90 to 10. It's a basic industrial area. So saleable is 90, the green area is 10. But Wangchan Valley, we are do a little bit around. The green area is 60%, and saleable area is only 40%. Try to make the Thailand people feel happy to be here with the nature. We live in the jungle, we live in the natural area, but we believe that it's going to be the market area so far in the area. So we try to make the things that convince people to live here. We our area is adjacent to the highway 344. In the area, we have the 3 separate zones. We have the area for the hotel. We have the area for the retail business, adjacent to the highway road. The next one in the purple zone, we have the education zone that we are proud of. We have the great, the best high school and university, deep technology university. And we have the Wangchan Forestry Institute too, because we have to invest on the green area we call Wangchan Forest. Beyond that, we have the saleable area for the innovation investor come to the area, around 200 acres. Right now, unfortunately, with the COVID or with the maybe the limitation of the investor for industry, so it's only 15% rental area is been booked. So another 85% is still empty for the PTT. But anyway, PT we are what to be the sandbox we like to test to. We invest all of the fundamental infrastructure for the smart city. I think we quite guarantee that in this year or next year, even technology is so fast. Our standard is same as the smart city in China or whatever we've been visiting to. So the concept we try to get the smart city. Let me skip this one. We try to develop. So for the IoT, we have the information intelligent operation center, who try to have all 5G's infrastructure, all the telecommunication is going to be the premium one. It's already, or even though people live here no more. That's an example of the smart city. We got it. We you have to see by your own eyes, for this one. I had to pass this. So that's for example of the sandbox one we promote. For the sandbox of the unmanned aerial vehicle sandbox, is quite tough because it's dangerous to test flying objects overhead for the people. So we have to set up the rules. Another CAV, connected autonomous vehicle, we have to have the testing bed in the area too. End of this year, we will have complete the construction. And even for the sandbox, we try to make smart grid too. So we have to consult to Sweden embassy about this too, because the sale of the electricity in Thailand, we have some grounds to that. Sometimes we have to put the sandbox in this. So why have to come to Wangchan Valley? It's business one. So we have to promote about the exemption of the tax, BOI things. Such is a challenge for PTT and EEC. Try to make this area convince not only the against another city in EEC, but we have to convince people to fight with Vietnamese, fight with another country, try to bring investors come to the area too. So the good thing for the area that if investors come to the area, if you are innovation based, so you will get the incentive of the exemption of the tax. For example, so 10 years is no tax exemption. But if you live in EEC, you have plus 2 years for incentive. But if you stay in the EEC, you get another 1 year. So it's totally 13 years for exemption. For the more detail, so that should be the last one. If you're interested to visit to Wangchan Valley, we are welcome you to come to see by your own eyes. It's better than you listen from my own word. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Surachai, for your very interesting introduction to the Wangchan Valley and the EECI project in general. Of course, there are 15 approved smart cities in Thailand right now. Of course, more to come. And I think Wangchan Valley is very interesting in how it is incorporated within the EECI framework, and kind of how PTT there together with the partners kind of drives the development of the future Eastern Economic Corridor. Of course, I understand there's a lot to do in the valley, and very interesting, of course, to follow your future work then with this development. Yeah, so very good. Thank Mr. Östergren, Mr. Alan Larson, Dr. Pasakon Platonbutter, and Mr. Surachai Laupulsuk so much for taking the time to introduce their own vantage points here on smart cities in Thailand. We have roughly some 20 or so minutes for a Q&A session. After that, there will be a 15-minute break for everyone to stretch your legs or take your laundry in case you're in Bangkok and suffering from the thunderstorm that we're experiencing right now. And then at 4:45 Thai time or 11:45 Swedish time, we will all automatically end up in the main meeting again, where we will have the final remarks and the conclusions of the Sustainable Development Forum. But now then it is time for some questions and answers. I have gotten quite a few questions here in the chat, and please continue to use the chat box if there is any questions that you would wish raised. You may also choose to unmute your microphone if you would like to ask the questions yourself and not via me then. But I've gotten a few questions, and I think we can start here with Mr. Östen Ekengren from Smart City Sweden. One observer here wrote that you mentioned that roughly 700 companies and 8 government agencies are involved in the smart city work in Sweden. Could you please explain a bit more about the need or the importance of private and public collaboration when it comes to smart cities, please?
Yes, I will try to do that. It's very important to have this cooperation, because lesson learned here in Sweden is that if, for example, we go into the waste, we have been dependent on regulation from the agencies saying, for example, that we cannot go with the household waste to the landfill anymore. We need to pay a lot of money, punishment in that case. And then if you have such a signal, then industry can find other ways how to solve this problem. So it is very important that regulation side goes together with industry development, but also from that point of view to give funding for the new solution. Who want to develop it? You need some funding in the beginning and also help with the risk sharing. So therefore, like Vinnova in Sweden and Tillväxtverket and Energigenius give support to new solutions, new ideas. So in my mind, there is very important with this collaboration. And I give you another example. The Swedish government now invited 3 years ago the Swedish industry researchers and regional offices to discuss how we should meet the future challenges for the society. And those groups have met many times and developed solutions a bit similar to what we heard from this valley. And many of the examples I gave now going on in Sweden has been developed in such cooperation between the government side, the industry, and the researcher. And I think that is very, very important always to have this cooperation and trust. You build up trust by meeting and discussing with each other. And I think, from my opinion, that's the way forward always, to build up this trust and support, and then try to find a way forward, everybody involved. And for example, we have 4 ministers from the Swedish government attending the final meeting. They all said it has been so good also for them to came out from the silos and meet colleagues and meet other views. The same from industry. They are not so used to cooperate either. So I think for the future where climate change is so important, this is a lesson learned that cooperation is on a city level or national level is very, very important.
Thank you so much for that, Östen, and I hope it helps satisfy the question. Next up, we see that Ms. Bobai Lee has raised the hand. So would you please turn on your video and unmute yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. This is Bobai Lee. I'm a regional gender and climate change expert working for UN Women Asia Pacific Regional Office, and we work on project called Empower, which is also funded by SEED, the government of Sweden. So naturally, I would like to ask you, most of the panels, that how the gender equality, including LGBTIQ plus rights, were embedded in this pursuing smart cities. And also the other participants, I'm echoing the other participants' points here that, you know, ITs and including smart city system is often including most vulnerable groups because of already embedded inequality on access to IT and technology. So I was wondering how you are tackling this vulnerable groups assessment, maybe doing vulnerability assessment studies. And maybe from Sweden side, you could share some examples of how you are trying to develop this inclusive, sustainable, and smart cities, including gender responsiveness. And I will also share that our project link in the chat for you to check for further resources, but that was my question. One, how to have gender responsive, including LGBTQI+ rights in smart cities, and two, how to tackle the vulnerabilities of the existing urban population. Over to you.
Thank you for that question, Bobai. Definitely a very important one that you raised there. I wonder if maybe Kun Pasakon at DEPA can introduce how you work within your 8 pillars when it comes to securing the rights of disadvantaged groups, and especially in terms of gender and the LGBTQ community.
Okay, from the our mechanisms from the first requirements of the proposal, we require the collaboration or co-creation from citizens. So that we start from the requirement first. That means we have to do some like a design thinkings that involve with the citizen in any gender or any age, led by the communities. So that is the first start of the smart city. So we need to understand the pain point or the requirement. So that is the mandatory for every proposal. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dr. Pasakon. Maybe Mr. Östen has something to say about kind of inclusivity and especially safeguarding the rights of minorities in smart city and urban developments.
Yeah, this is not an easy question, but generally speaking, for gender equality, it's a strategy from the government that it should be equal. So the children care is introduced in such a way that it's possible for both men and women and stay at home with the children, as was shown during the break. And that is very important. And then the engagement from both men and women in the preparation of activities in the city is very important. So you must find ways so that everyone will be involved. But I will say that what we are struggling with most is that also the new city should not be only for rich or half-rich people or other areas for poor people. So we also try to find a good mixture so that in the city we have people from different categories. And that is an important part of the strategy here in Sweden, to be sustainable in the long run, to stimulate those activities. Then I cannot say more about the equality. I think in Sweden, this is self-understood by most people that we must move on with this. Still, the salaries are a bit different, so we try to have them more equal. But in the planning of the city, it must also be better for the children, so they can have playing in areas and that you can go to green areas. But I mean, that is for the children, and it's equal for men and women and children to use it.
Thank you so much for that, Kun Östen and Kun Pasakon. Of course, very relevant and very good, but also a very hard question to answer in a few minutes. A question I got to Kun Surachai at Wangchan Valley is as follows. That the Wangchan Valley is spearheaded by a private firm, PTT. So I guess this question is both to you, Kun Surachai, and Dr. Pasakon. So what is the background and what is the benefit that PTT sees from applying to have the Wangchan Valley initiative to be registered as a smart city?
To be honest, we trying. Because we never try business of the real estate smart city too. We try to be at the real estate I don't know, I'm answering your question, and try to be real estate, that we try to use the smart city to seduce an investor to come to the area. We try to make a conflict between that the area is quite distinguished from the other area. You live in the jungle, but in the most modern technologies, smart city. You can see by your own eyes, not only the technology is only for the smart living things. We try to promote people to have the separate lifestyle like a nature, to not only we have the separate, for example, the separate lanes of the walking, cycling, the car. People can live in the EV in the city. So if that successful, I hope so, people can come to the area to rent the land for PTT, and they get the price of Thailand too. That's the PTT. It try to do the business. That's the main purpose of apply to the certificate of the DEPA.
Okay, let me add more. Beyond the incentive from the government, that PTT received the BOI tax exemption for 8 years, and also the benefit from the government in about the budget or the funding. You know that the smart cities in Vientiane is an innovative area. They have a lot of the sandbox area. So think about that. If you want to do some experiments to try out some new technology, the technology from Europe or from Sweden, it cannot be applied directly to Southeast Asia. So you can do some pilot project using this kind of EECI or PTT as the base. If you succeed here, you can do in Cambodia, in Vietnam, in this region. The culture are the same. So let's say the Vientiane will be the springboard to do the business in another technology in ASEAN, in Southeast Asia.
Thank you.
Thank you, both Dr. Pasakon and Kun Surachai there. I see that Mr. Östen raised his hand.
Yes. After listening to the Thai presentation, I got the feeling that many things are similar to what we are doing, but also different. So I see a great opportunity now to establish some cooperation between the Smart City Sweden, covering all activities here in Sweden, and the Thai side, to share experiences in more detail, and also discuss different ways how to do the changes. Because we learned during the 4 years with Smart City Sweden that if you live in a city and you are on the mayor or advised to do something, there are some similar questions, but also different answers. And I think it could be very good to learn from each other. And also about this Valley project in Sweden is a bit different. We stimulate the industrial solution in different part of Sweden, but where we do it, some of the activities are also similar to what they are doing in this area. And I think that could be a good step forward after this meeting to organize a follow-up, more detailed discussion. That was my idea. Thank you.
Can I add a bit more? Can I add a bit more? When I talk about the testing thing, because basically the smart city we do in the brownfield mostly, but PTT we try to not do another way around. We try to do in the greenfield one. That's quite challenging. That's the city in only two from 15. That Dr. Pasakon Kid mentioned to that. We are trying to be that the greenfield can successful in the business too or not. So we try on that.
Thank you, Mr. Surachai. And yeah, the brownfield versus greenfield is, of course, very interesting. Based on my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Pasakon, of the 15 approved smart cities in Thailand today, I think the 2 are greenfield and 13 are upgrades or brownfield. So of course, very interesting that both of these models are being worked on. To get back to the comment there by Mr. Östen about further collaboration, I think that you bring up a very good point, and that's at least what I had planned to conclude this session in a bit, and to talk more about the need for international collaboration when it comes to attaining the social development goals that we have, and how to learn from each other to build resilient and sustainable smart cities. And we would hear the Swedish Trade and Invest Council, Business Sweden, would be very happy to help invite delegations in both directions, both from Thailand to Sweden to learn about how Sweden is working, but also from Sweden to Thailand to learn more about how Thailand is working and any needs that may exist here. I'll get back to that a little bit. I have a slightly more technical question here from Mr. Robert Steele. I will ask Östen, who I know has energy background, to respond to this. So Mr. Robert Steele, he asks, is there a possibility to develop a working model of circular economy, industrial symbiosis, where there will be no net waste or emission of greenhouse gases due to the system design of the city that ensures that waste from one entity can be used as a resource by another entity? Is there any example of this in Sweden? Is Hammarby Sjöstad designed in this way? And as a follow-up question then to Mr. Surachai is, are there any plans for this in Wangchan Valley? But I think we'll hand over first to Mr. Östen.
Yeah, it's a very good question. I was a bit missing this circular concept in the presentation from Thai side. There is a lot of things going on in this direction. I think it was a Danish town that was the first to introduce this, and then they connected different industries. But as we have discussed in Sweden, that must be the final goal, that everything should be circular. So we focus very much on doing this. For the household waste, we are for the moment far away, but it goes on in this direction. But more and more we try to connect industries together. So waste from one industry will be a resource in the other one, and so on. So it is possible to do what the questionnaire asked, but it needs knowledge and it needs time. But it goes in that direction because you are not allowed to end up with waste in any activity in the future. You must have circular solutions in place. But to be honest, we are not there yet, but we are working on it. And it is also incentive in European Union for all the research to go in this direction. And Swedish industry is also doing their best to move in this direction. For the household waste, it also goes there, but we are not there yet.
Thank you, Östen. Khun Surachai, do you have anything to add about how you in the Wangchan Valley work with reducing waste and towards, minimizing the waste of resources?
The design of the concept of waste management, we 100% comply to this concept. We have the professional waste treatment company to invest in the area already, WHA in Thailand. It's in our pipeline to do the zero waste in the area, BCG as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Surachai. I have a question here to Mr. Alan Larson of the Stockholm Green Innovation District. And this one has to do with kind of the execution of plans. The question reads that making ambitious plans is, of course, the step one, but can you tell us more about governance and the importance of governance in smart cities? How do you monitor and incentivize to ensure that plans are being executed upon and being carried through?
A good question. I say that we have taken several steps. The first one was when Hammarby Sjöstad was established 20 years ago, started the construction work. That was a new method of governance, bringing both real estate, public agencies together so that they should all agree on the standards on sustainability before starting building. That was one first important step, and it helped to supported the vision of the mayor to make a city district twice as good as anything built before. But it didn't reach the whole way. And therefore, the next step was to have us as citizens to take responsibility, because we are owners of real estate where we're living. We are owners of transport means. We are responsible for the waste system and so on. So we have to do our work too. This is what is now the aim of the Hammarby Sjöstad 2.0, that including members in it, citizens, members in it. And it's mainly through the housing associations, where 70% of the housing are organized as housing associations. So we are members of boards of our associations, and we have to make these decisions. So that is what we have brought it to. And we can see that we make good progress on energy, on transport and so on. But then we think that there is another further step. And this is what I presented as the 10th innovation, that there's a much bigger scale of governance, climate city governance. Then we have to include financial systems, we have to include digital systems and so on. And that is what we are now working on. And we will present something by the end of the year as a contribution to the EU policies on climate transition. So this is what we're doing. And there's a lot to do. We can see that we are doing that in one district. I would like to see it in many, many other districts in Sweden. Can I add one thing?
Yes.
And that is for your summary. For your summary, I would say that when I listen to the very interesting presentation of what you're doing in Thailand and what we are doing, there are three things that we have in our innovation package that I think could be of interest. That is a water purification system, investment in this new system, the membrane technology, which is quite new, and it's developed in Östernekingens IVL laboratory. The second one is Green City Ferries, that we have now ferries that are driven by electricity or by hydrogen, and they are much cheaper in operation, so that the lowering of operation costs covers more than the investment costs. So it's a very good profit in doing this, and we can provide you with knowledge about this, and we have a team working on it, and we have now started the production of the first ferries, and they will be in operation next year. So, and the third one is the CCS, that the Stockholm energy company XLG is now testing, and that is looking very good, and it will be introduced in full scale in 2 years or 3. So these are 3 examples of innovation that I think that you should have a look at.
Thank you so much for that, Alan, and especially the Green City Ferries, I think, are of big importance. What Bangkok and Stockholm has in common, other than being capitals, are of course that they are that water has played a very big role kind of in the development of the cities, and water is to some extent a natural feature of the cityscapes. Both Stockholm and Bangkok has a lot of waterways and a lot of ferries on the waterways. We're happy to see also in Thailand that some electricity driven ferries are now being rolled out and piloted. I have a few questions that from Kunchatra Pontam at SEG, Siam Cement Group, who visited or whose company visited Sweden, I believe, last week for Stockholm Plus 50. There were two questions, or three rather, that I've received from him. The first one is, I will let Östen and Allan decide among themselves who is the best to answer. But what are the incentives provided to Swedish cement and steel industries to decarbonize? We have, of course, this big kind of example in Sweden of carbon neutral steel. What are the incentives, and how do you, from a regulatory perspective, work with these incentives?
I can start answering. Incentive is that they know that they contribute with 1/3 of the emission, and it must be come down. So then they have shaked hand, I will say, with the government. So both of them invest in the new solutions. And they are thinking like this, that if you produce fossil-free steel, the market is tremendous. But to come there, you have to invest. And therefore, it's a shared investment between the industry and the government to be able to do this. So incentive is the future market for both the cement and for the steel industry. And lesson learned in Sweden is that the companies that are in the front will have the market later on. And they can't see from themselves that they can continue to produce in the way they have been doing. So therefore it came up idea to have this change going from the blast furnace to this hydrogen technology. And I think it's a good argument that for this cooperation between industry and government to come to this conclusion, supported by the research.
Can I add one thing to that? And that is...
Yes, Allan, you may, but we have 2 more minutes until the whole room will automatically close. So very briefly, please. Very brief.
European trading system is the most important incentives for industries to go this way. You have to buy permissions, and the cost of permissions, the price on permissions will increase substantially. That's the reason why all industries will go this way.
Thank you so much for that, Allan. Much appreciated. So just to conclude here, we will soon automatically been kind of thrown back into the main meeting that will start at 4:45 Thai time, or 11:45 Swedish time, in 7 minutes. And there we'll have the final remarks, and I will also provide a conclusion of this session. But I would just briefly wish to just share the following with you. As mentioned before, meeting like this is very good. We don't need to travel. We save on the environment in that sense. But of course, having the physical meeting and actually seeing the smart cities and development in Thailand and in Sweden, of course, can function much more as inspiration when it comes to further collaboration. So Team Sweden, together with the Embassy of Sweden and the Royal Thai Embassy in Stockholm, would very much want to host delegation trips that we're inviting you to. We hope to have a delegation from Thailand to Sweden during the third quarter of this year to explore the Swedish smart city ecosystem, meet, of course, Allan and Östen and many of these colleagues, as well as other decision makers. And we also hope to have a Swedish smart delegation in Thailand to visit Depa, to visit and see what is going on in Wangchan Valley, Khon Kaen, and other smart cities as well. And we propose this time frame for the fourth quarter of this year. So you're all very, very welcome to visit each other's countries. And we really hope that today will just be kind of the start of much more in-depth collaboration between Sweden and Thailand, as I think that there are many areas of mutual interest here. So with that, I thank you for participating in this breakout session. You don't need to do anything. You will very soon automatically get back to the main room. There'll be a 5-minute break. And in 5 minutes, we will all have the concluding remarks and the summaries from the Thailand Sweden Sustainable Development Forum. So please stick around. And thank you so much for all your good questions and all your good insights during this session here. See you in a bit.